What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are here at Prospect Park, and today we are starting the forehand cycle. We're taking the entire month of December, and every Formwork video is going to be trying to figure out why I can't throw accurate forehands on a Hyzer and how can we fix it. So today we're starting off smooth, small, and controlled. I have a vessel, a Zone SS, and a Rhino. And hopefully we can learn something from today that we can carry into next week to help further this quest for a forehand Hyzer. Forehand Hyzer. Yeah, let's go. Now, the things that tend to make it a good forehand are, first off, the footwork and the brace. So walk up, run up, whatever it is that you're going to do, make sure that your final plant foot is driven into the ground and you are coiled and ready to explode forward, keeping that foot planted and that heel driven towards the ground. First step, brace. Cool. I feel like I've got a pretty decent brace, at least on my left side, especially if I'm trying to throw on a Hyzer, because it always feels like I'm scrunching up and trying to throw inside of my body, which always feels weird. So, good brace, bad brace, whatever it is, work on your brace. Second, good forehand is going to have a good timing of the hips and the shoulder timed with the elbow and the wrist, right? And I've spent so many years trying to time the elbow and the wrist that sometimes we don't always time the shoulder and the hips. But we're going to try to make sure we work on that today. The issue for throwing on a Hyzer is that when you try to throw on a Hyzer, instead of my traditional forehand, which typically is a little bit more extended, you're out here, right? It's very difficult to throw it through out here. See how my forearm is actually almost angled up just here? So trying to come through and keep it on a Hyzer is very, very extremely difficult. So as you throw more out and on an Hyzer, you're throwing more out and elbow away from your body. More on Hyzer, you're throwing more elbow. You have to bring the elbow into your body so you can keep that forearm down. Very difficult for me to do because my forehand has been based off of that ultimate style, which is keep the hand and wrist high and then pop it with the wrist. I certainly can, but it doesn't feel comfortable and it doesn't feel confident, and I never know exactly where I need to be aiming for that forehand Hyzer because I am running up. I'm placing my body expecting this, when suddenly I need to have this, which, as I'm sure, it's probably a slightly different release point, forward, back, front, center, up, down. I haven't figured it out yet, which is what we're doing today. We're trying to figure it out. Here's the Zone SS. Let's see if especially on a hole like this where we need it to go from left to right, Zone SS has to be on a Hyzer. A little bit of foliage, a little bit of branches. So I can. And it's all about the elbow placement. But as you try to either up tempo or down tempo, add power, remove power from those shots, Why does it become so difficult to make sure that the elbow is placed tucked into the body? And even when you're finished doing that, can you still have placements? All of these are questions going through my mind every time I'm trying to throw a forehand hyzer, when I really just need to break it down step by step. So on the next hole, we're going to elbow close to the body, focus on nothing else, just throw a forehand with the elbow close to the body. And then we can focus on other things from there. As long as we can make each step consistent, we can start to focus on consistency, timing, technicality, and then we can add power later, which is what later on in December is for. I said we're going to commit to it. We're going to commit to elbow close to the body and not focusing on literally anything else. I'm going to try to generically aim, but basically keep the elbow close to the body. Where does the disc come out at? Well, turns out you can hit a rhino hard enough to be a flex shot. So both of these have come out pretty flat so far. And I realistically, all I'm doing is focusing on elbow here, punch through, right? Keep the elbow in, but these aren't coming out on Hyzer. Remember, we're focusing on one thing at a time. Can we keep the elbow close to the body? I mean, it didn't turn over, so that one came out on Hyzer. So yes, elbow close to the body is going to help us stay a little bit closer to flat, if not throw on Hyzer. Next hole, let's focus on the next thing, which is in trying to almost pronate that hand open, that hand down, that wrist down, which is going to pull the forearm down. If we can try to point the thumb down, it's going to automatically pull the forearm down. At least I think that's how it works. So, quick demonstration of what I was talking about. Here is our elbow close to the body. Disc could be soft Hyzer, soft and Hyzer. But as long as we're trying to make sure that that thumb is pointed down, it's going to automatically pull forearm down, keep it on that Hyzer angle. Theoretically speaking, it should work. Oh, that's beautiful. And deep and skipped long. We're not worried about that right now. We are worried about the right form. Yeah, it came out on Hyzer. Caught a tree, so it's parked, it's fine. It isn't an understable putter, but it is a 2-speed, and I did not spin it very well because I was focused on forearm down and elbow down. This is probably why it flexed on the last hole too. On this next hole, we're going to be thinking about placement and hoping that the elbow positioning and the wrist thumb positioning that we worked on these last couple of holes is going to help keep us on the right angle as we're focused on actually aiming our shots. And we can continue to work on it because aiming for me happens past the wrist, past the elbow. For me, aiming happens, well, obviously body positioning happens first. You get your body in the right position, your disc is going to go in the general location of where you're trying to go. But for precision shots, for me, it happens in this particular moment. Once I can get that dialed in, then I can start to hit my line. The question is, can I do that and be very precise? Because for me, that tends to happen out away from my body. It tends to happen out here with the elbow already extended and just the last little flick of the fingers. So can I still do that and be super precise and have really good aim while I'm still keeping the elbow close, the wrist and thumb pointed down while throwing on a Hyzer? Could have been a little bit better on that release. could have been a little bit more accurate. But it still came out a little bit high, elbow away from the body. Go in. Whew. It was not an ace, but that would have been cool. So I think depending on the disc, it'll be easier or harder, more or less difficult for me to do it. And I think that's where we start to run into the problem of once you start throwing more than 250, once you start trying to throw more than 150-foot approach shots with your approach disc, where does that accuracy start to taper out? And where can you still have accuracy throwing on a Hyzer? So next week we're going to come back, we're going to look at pyros, we're going to look at resistors, we're going to look at fairway drivers that should more or less, fairway drivers and mid-ranges that should more or less be able to do this. But I have historically had a really, really difficult time doing it with. So hopefully you guys found some of this helpful and useful. If so, please make sure to like the video. If you want to see new stuff, make sure to comment that down below. Please make sure to subscribe. It helps you guys out with these subscriber-only giveaways. And if you want to be automatically entered into monthly giveaways, check out the memberships as well. Until next time, see you out on the course.